Hello everyone, welcome back to Quick Snips with Chris. Last time you learned about the 8 planets in the solar system, but this time we're going to move all the way from space to, well actually we're still in space, but we are going a little closer to home. Here's the thing. Did you know that right now there's a gigantic chunk of rock whirling around the Earth at over 2,000 miles per hour with a strange, mysterious side permanently shrouded in darkness, and we don't even know how this thing got here? Guess what? You've seen it before. It's a little thing we call the moon. Now the moon is pretty special. It's the only big, round, glowing thing up in the sky other than the sun. You can't miss it. Just like the sun rises and sets every day, the moon rises and sets every night, so it's very dependable. One of the clearest things you can see about the moon is how it changes shape. If you look at the moon every night, you'll see that it slowly changes from a new moon to a crescent, quarter, gibbous, and full moon. But why?
Everyone knows why the moon changes shape. First of all, the moon is obviously made out of green cheese, and every night a giant monster comes out and eats part of it. Then it goes to sleep, and then the moon grows back. See?
Sorry, excuse me, I don't know what happened there. Now, it might be helpful to learn a little bit about the moon first. First of all, the moon is not made of green cheese. It's mostly made up of rock from calcium, and it's actually covered with craters and riverbeds from ancient lava flows. Second of all, the moon actually doesn't change shape. The moon is about 1/4 the size of the Earth, and it orbits the Earth every 24 hours, so we see it every night. The moon looks like it's glowing, but it's actually just reflecting light from the sun that we can't see. When different amounts of sun hit the moon, we see different shapes, and these are called phases. But why does the moon have phases anyway? Now here we have the Earth. But if this is the Earth, then I must be gigantic. Anyway, here's the Earth, and here's the moon, and here is the sun. Okay, this is getting complicated. Now, the moon spins around, but it also orbits the Earth. Now, the Earth spins around, but it also orbits the sun. So if the moon is orbiting the Earth, which is orbiting the sun, and you get different amounts of light, and that's how you get different shapes or phases. And after all this, I haven't even told you what the actual phases are yet. Well, I'm gonna need something to help me explain this. Maybe not green cheese, but how about a giant cookie? See how big and round it is? One of the phases actually looks like this. When we can see the one whole side of the moon, it's called a full moon. Now you can see a full moon about once a month. And no, it isn't covered with delicious chocolate chip. I'm getting hungry. Too bad I just happen to have this giant delicious cookie here, but I can't eat it. Maybe if I just nibble around the edges, no one will notice. This cookie now looks like a gibbous moon. Crazy word, I know, but this happens when not quite all of the moon is lit up by the sun. If you're on Earth, then the sun is like this. Because the moon looks like it's getting smaller, we're gonna add another weird word and call it a waning gibbous moon. The problem is, this doesn't look very pretty now. Nope, what I'd better do is just eat straight across and make a nice straight edge. When it looks like someone, not me, has eaten half of the moon, it's called a waning quarter. Even though it looks like half a moon, it's really only a quarter that you can see. This happens when the sun is like this. Again, the whole moon is still there, but you can only see a quarter of it. If you live on the northern hemisphere, above the equator, the moon looks like this. But if you live on the southern hemisphere, below the equator, the moon looks like this. You know what? I'm so hungry, I'm just gonna have to take a huge bite out of this. Now, it looks like a waning crescent moon. This happens when you can only see a tiny sliver of the moon. Oh no, the whole cookie's gone! Where did it go? Oh, the producer is gonna be so mad at me. When it looks like someone has eaten the entire moon, It's called a new moon. But hey, this cookie isn't new. It looks like someone already ate it. Remember, the moon is still there, but the sun is just right behind it. Can you see it? I know you're probably blind by now, but can you still see the moon? Now imagine if it was night. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any moon at all, does it? Then a miracle happens. Whoa, the crescent moon came back! Except now it's backwards. Where did this come from? Because it looks like the moon is growing back, this is called a waxing crescent. A waxing crescent? Why? It turns out that the moon goes back through all of its phases again, just backwards. Quarter, waxing gibbous, and back to full. After about a month, the cycle starts over. Now, there are a lot of other cool things about the moon. For example, the moon is rotating at exactly the same speed as it's orbiting the Earth, so we only ever get to see one side of it. The other side is called the dark side of the moon, and we never get to see it. Also, the moon is very slowly moving away from the Earth, about 1.5 inches a year. Okay, that's not a lot, but it's still a little scary. Now go outside tonight and see what phase your moon is in right now. And by the time you get back, I'll be gone, because I gotta get out of here before the producer finds out about the cookie. See you next time.